who's been instrumental in putting together the program today. And Dr. Hillel Newman is someone who is very well known to our community and to communities well beyond the Jewish community of Los Angeles. He's been active in diplomatic service for many years, and it's a great privilege for us to have him here. Please give a warm welcome to Ambassador Dr. Hillel Newman.
Welcome, everybody, to this important and significant ceremony that marks the UN Resolution 181, the resolution that paved the way to the re-establishment of the State of Israel. My friends, the UN resolution in many ways impacted my personal life. I would not be on this stage today representing the State of Israel if not for that resolution. I remember my father, who later became a community spiritual leader, telling us how he and his entire generation gathered around the radio, holding their breath as the vote was counted. The joy was indescribable, and many saw in this the realization of the prophetic promise of the return of the people of Israel to the land of Israel. There is no such precedent of a nation returning to their homeland after thousands of years of exile and persecution, renewing their sovereignty, resurrecting even the ancient biblical language of Hebrew. Today, every child in Israel speaks Hebrew and can read the Bible in the original language. Prophet Zechariah stated that the day will come when the elderly will sit leisurely on the streets of Jerusalem and children will play in the streets of Jerusalem. This prophetic vision was uttered in a period of darkness when the people of Israel were scattered in exile. It was a utopian dream. Today it is a reality. If this is not living testimony of the prophetic vision, then what is? Allow me to stress that the rights of the people of Israel to the land of Israel do not derive from a UN decision. Those rights are historic, inherent, and prophetic. Anyone who reads the Bible knows this. We are the indigenous people of the land of Israel. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been reading in synagogues in the portion of the week the biblical verses about the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, who received the assurance of the promised land. The official recognition of this historical inherent rights of the people of Israel to their homeland was at last endorsed by officials in the modern era, first in the Balfour Declaration of 1917, and then by the UN resolution which we are marking today. By that act, Israel was reborn into the family of nations. For that support, we will be eternally thankful to the international community and those countries. We remember those who did justice unto us and justice unto history. Well, we cannot praise the UN for everything they do. In today's world, the structure of the UN does not allow impartiality and truth. The UN suffers an ingrained majority bias, which expresses itself in discrimination against Israel. If you just count the amount of resolutions against Israel in comparison to all the nations of the world, this bias is clear to see. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said himself that these actions are nothing less than modern-day anti-Semitism. This is true. Classic anti-Semitism still exists and is even on a rise. Yet classic anti-Semitism, discrimination against a Jew for being a Jew, or persecution of a Jew for being a Jew, is less accepted today in official social practice. So many cloak their anti-Semitism in an anti-Zionism. They attack the one and only majority Jewish state. We hope for the day when this bias will be eradicated from the world and no longer tolerated. My friends, when Israel was re-established, it extended its hand in friendship and peace with the entire international community, including the entire Arab and Muslim world. Sadly, at the time, this hand was rejected. Till today, the majority of the Arab League and many in the Muslim bloc in the UN refuse to even recognize the existence of the State of Israel. Yet, the vector is positive. We have finally normalized relations with Egypt, Jordan, UAE, whose representative is here proudly, Bahrain, Morocco, and even with Sudan, where the Arab League endorsed its historical resolution of rejection of Israel. There is a growing acceptance of Israel. The biggest obstacle to peace has always been the rejection of Israel. Any country that comes to terms with the existence of Israel will find our hand extended in peace. The same goes for Iran and the Palestinians. At this time, we should also remember that Israel's rebirth was of long labor. It was through the tireless efforts of individuals, Jewish and non-Jewish, from across the globe, who never lost sight of the dream of a Jewish homeland and brought the vote to the world stage 75 years ago. Just at the entrance, I was discussing with someone, Yigal, and he told me about his grandfather. How his grandfather was a physician of the leader of one of the states in Latin America, and he managed to persuade the president of that state to support Israel. It is so important for the students who are here today to hear that message. Individual voices and actions, people following their convictions, can make the difference. They can change the course of history and make dreams come true. Someone who exemplifies the power of human spirit in this community is Dr. Judea Pearl. He has suffered firsthand the cruelty of this modern era with the murder of his dear son Daniel Pearl, Zichrono Livracha. But he chose not to be consumed by personal sorrow and victimhood, and dedicates himself to values like the one we are noting today. My friends, that is the story of Israel. The state of Israel was re-established from the ashes of the Holocaust after 3,000 years of persecution. We could have sunk into a narrative of victimhood, blaming the Babylonians for the destruction of our first temple, accusing the Romans for the destruction of our second temple, denying Germany due to the atrocities of Nazi Germany. We did not. We chose to build a future state in a spirit of positivity and harmony. We chose to build a country that would bring benefit to humanity and society. We chose light over darkness. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining us in this celebration of the creation of modern Israel. We stand proud and strong with our fellow members, determined to be a force of good for humanity across the globe. Cool. Thank you.